our IIC was waiting for the opportunity to conduct one of the events on physical platform. All in this, almost 30 webinars we conducted since the inception of IIC. So I welcome you on my behalf, on behalf of IIC and behalf of AVMC, and now MU also has joined us in celebrating this event. You know, this National Education Day is celebrated to commemorate the birthday of Dr. Maulana, who was the first education minister of our country, and he brought a lot of reforms. I will tell why innovation cell has been started by MOE, because one of his vision was, I will tell you one of his quotes, then you will understand that education should build a capacity of spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial and moral leadership among students and become their role model. So that was one of his dreams, and he said that many people will try to plant trees, but some of them will come. So let us see that out of our students' trees which they plant, how many will come out and they will bloom and they will grow in the entrepreneurship. So let dream come first, and then we will see that how his dreams vision nurture. Our university is there, our institution is there. We have our senior administrators here, our dean sir, our MS sir, our director of research, our all activities to guide you. So don't lose this opportunity. And this function is mainly the council is students' council. So you understand that this is your council, you are going to guide this, you are going to lead this, you are going to do all the programs, all the events, and that's why now I am going to hand over this program to our today's host, Dr. Nikita. Please come. And welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good afternoon to all present here. I am Dr. Nikita, third year of postgraduate in obstetrics and gynecology. So today we all gathered here for National Education Day, and we, the members of IIC, wholeheartedly welcome you. National education is celebrated on 11 November on birth anniversary of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Education is like a brick, using which we are building the pillars and we are making better India. So without wasting time, let's start up today's event. I would request all the dignitaries to come on the stage. I request our DOS sir and RMO sir to occupy the dais. A day starting off with a prayer is a good day and a blessing. So we start today's event.
चंद के माल पर I extend my warm welcome to the dignitaries of the event. Dr. B.F. Kotur sir, Dean, AVMC and the heads. Evening's event. Dr. Kalsat, Professor of General Medicine, AVMC and heads. And our guest, Rebecca, Head and Nursing Officer, AVMC and heads. I also extend my welcome to the participants. Before we carry on with the event, I will give my regards and appreciation to all the people who made this occasion a complete reality. It's a great honor to be a part of this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Niranjan. Now I request our respectable Dean Sir, Dr. B.F. Kotur, to talk about today's event.
Very good afternoon, my colleagues on the dais, Professor Vishnu Bhatt, Professor Jaisi, Professor Mahalakshmi, Professor Jay Kumar, Dr. Prashant, and Professor Deepa, and the judges for today, Professor Rebecca, Director Research, and Professor Kalsat, Professor of Medicine, the HODs, members of Institutional Innovation Cell, members of Medical Education Unit, members of IQAC. I am very happy as head of the institutions to stand before you. First and foremost thing is, this IIC is the first offline program. Ever since its inception, as was told just now, it has been quite vibrant, conducted quite many activities, 30 activities in a short span of a couple of months. And suddenly there is no looking back. Excellent. I must congratulate the chairperson and the convener, all the members, Dr. Kavita, Dr. Aarti, because I keep seeing that whenever I go to exam or office, something or other is going on all around. Wonderful, excellent. And in fact, actually I was in the university for some meeting. There this issue, I had an opportunity to discuss with some of the university officials. And they are expecting that this IIC of AVMC, which has taken a lead among the health science institutions, should get a 5-star rating. They said assured that whatever the impetus, whatever support that is required, they are ready to extend. So certainly I can give a hint to the chairperson, Professor Bhatt, we will achieve that landmark. And of course, primarily National Education Day is the primary activity of a medical education unit across the country. Way back in 2008, when UGC for the first time sent a notification to all the vice chancellors to conduct this birthday of first education minister of India, Dr. Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, to be celebrated across the country in all institutes of higher education as a National Education Day. Because we must with pride say that Indian government declared this day as a National Education Day 24 as a International Education Day. That means the importance of education in India, so-called developing or middle country, it is important. Is realized very early before even the international body recognized it. And since then we have been having uninterruptedly that. And that nice to collect some good works contributed by this great man, great son of India, who was an author, who was a politician, who was a teacher, thinker, and he was a president of the Indian National Congress twice, and he was a close associate of the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and the first education minister. He served for nearly 8-9 years. During this time, he was instrumental in, he conceived the idea of establishing the regulatory body of the higher education in India, that is nothing other than University Grant Commission. But for his encouragement, but for his support, but for his idea, this UGC, which governs all the universities, all institutes of higher education across the country, could not have got established. And he was instrumental in establishing IITs. He contributed for the establishment of the development of the Indian Institute of Science. The Institute of Science was established more than 100 years back. That's a different story. But during his tenure as an education minister, he got metamorphosed. In addition to that, about education, he was instrumental in establishing National Sahitya Academy, National Sangeeta Academy, National Drama Academy. See, that means music, then what is that? Art and literature. So he was instrumental in establishing every year National Science Academy over goes to this person, National Sangeeta Academy over this person. His vision has helped a lot. He had realized that it is possible to build our country, which had got recently, couple of years back, independence only through education. He realized that, and he gave an impetus so much for promoting the education. It's indeed such an occasion. And one thing was, on the level of this month, we were all kind of disturbed. I would say devastated because of the rain and all, everything got disturbed because they are holiday day. So because of that, otherwise it should be celebrated on 11th of November every year. But because of that, we said, and as a matter of fact, in this National Education Week, for our convenience, we can say that even we are organizing tomorrow, National Conference on Medical Education, and wonderful international speakers are there. So it's a good thing that the AVMC is a part of all these activities, and we all should feel proud. On this occasion, I bring greetings to you from our Honorable Chancellor, Board of Management, University at large, for all of you. And I must congratulate the Students' Council. I have already praised them enough number of times on the virtual platform that they program by the students, of the students, and for the students, wonderful. And it was much needed activity for students also, they were expecting. And many of the students might be having the hidden or government innovation instincts which will surface out inside institution innovation cells, certainly will identify them, nurture them, and to see that we will grow into some entrepreneur. This is what is this one, and today's debate is quite appropriate. This inclusion of entrepreneurship in the curricula of the mental curriculum. Is it necessary or not wonderful? We'll see what will be the pros, who will be stronger. Okay. With these viewers, I once again wish you all good wishes from this happy occasion, a proud occasion of National Medical Education, National Education Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request our Honorable Medical Superintendent, Dr. Jai Singh, to address the audience.
Respected Dean, Dr. Kotor, Director of Medical Research, Dr. Dean HP, convener, IAC, Dr. Pushpa Kotur, Deputy Medical Superintendent, Resident Medical Officer, judges of today's debate, Dr. Kalsan and Dr. Rebecca, members of the IAC, head of the departments, professors, associate professors, assistant professors, senior residents, PGs, and students. Good afternoon to all. The words entrepreneurship and entrepreneur, they may look new to the medical faculty, medical students. But throughout the history, doctors have been entrepreneurs, except for those doctors who join in institutions or in services, government service or in institutions like this. A doctor starting a clinic, he or she is an entrepreneur. A doctor starting a nursing home, he or she is an entrepreneur. A doctor starting establishing a hospital is an entrepreneur actually. So by definition, who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person who starts a new business or venture. Usually risks his own money to start a venture or a business. Of course, you must be knowing well-known entrepreneurs include the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and so on. Training in innovation and entrepreneurship in medical education has become increasingly prevalent among medical colleges to train students in complex problem solving and solution design. Of course, in the Western world and in USA, not in India. The gap between the medical education and the business training is large enough, which impairs doctors to become an integrated part of the entrepreneurial and management world. However, becoming an entrepreneur, medical entrepreneur, and building a steady career in healthcare as a manager is not an impossible task. Entrepreneurial minded healthcare professionals are looking to change the health sector by using the skills of business-minded entrepreneur to create better access for patients, reduce the costs, and sustain or improve the quality of healthcare to the satisfaction of the patients and the families of the patients. There are few advantages of becoming as an entrepreneur. Number one, you become a boss of your own. You set your own office. You can choose your own team. Suppose if you are working in some institution, some team will be given to you. You cannot choose. Whereas if you are an entrepreneur, you have the right to choose your own team. and you can have a creative expression which we cannot do with the institutions or with the government. If you tell some ideas to the government may take or may not take. You tell your ideas to the institution management may take your ideas or may not take. So when you become as an entrepreneur, you have the possibility of creating your own ideas and greater potential profit. Can I be both a doctor and an entrepreneur? Definitely possible. As I told you already, starting a clinic, starting a nursing home, starting a hospital. The best example which everyone knows will be Dr. P.C. Reddy. P.C. Reddy is a very renowned cardiologist, one of the most famous doctors, turned as an entrepreneur in the country. He is the founder and chairman of the Apollo Hospital Group, India's first corporate chain of hospitals that was also founded by him. So, Dr. P.C. Reddy is a successful entrepreneur. How do I become an entrepreneur in the medical field? Sometimes even brilliant ideas are undone by some misguided planning. So what is the way for a successful medical entrepreneur? Number one, conduct an effective market research. Look for the partners. Second one will be look for the partners. One more thing I would like to tell is, as medical students, you may be a gold medal winner, but I have seen many gold medal winners, they don't shine in the light because they don't know the marketing part of the career. So now this is the time to introduce this sort of entrepreneurship in the curriculum, in this education system. So to debate whether it is needed or not needed, we have the debate today. I hope we will get very good outcome of the debate. I wish all success for the persons who are actively going to take part in the debate. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Mahalakshmi, Dean HPE, to address our audience about today's event.
Good afternoon. The other day I was reading a book. It is published from Harvard Business School. It's called The Innovators Dna. So what's in the DNA of an innovator? Is it persistence, that you actually catch hold of an idea and keep on working on it till you make a success of it? Is it your creativity? You think differently, you look at things differently from what other people are doing? Is it looking, one of the reasons what it has been proposed is trying to look at a problem from multiple perspectives. So that is something which is very uniquely attributed to innovators. They don't think only in a single track motion. They try to see a product from the consumer's point of view, from the production's point of view, from the point of view of marketing. So they bring in multiple perspectives to a same problem. So this is something which is embedded in education for a very long time. You know about Socrates. It is called as Socratic method of exploration of different ideas. Plato, Aristotle, so many great minds actually had formulated this kind of exploring. So when you try and argue a problem from different perspectives, both far and against, from this perspective, from the consumer's perspective or from the stakeholders, different stakeholders perspective, you get to get different ideas which will help you to consolidate what is that you are understanding about that problem and which will give you a much better perspectives. So that way these debates and sessions where brainstorming sessions where the people come up with their original ideas and present are extremely good. And I really appreciate Madam for coming up with this idea, because we've had a lot of poster competition, essay competition, things like that. But this is a nice one, I think, for us to have. And I'm very sure that our students and PGs and faculty members who are going to speak are going to bring in a lot of new ideas and perspectives to this. I'm as eager to listen to this as you are going to. Happy listening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So today's debate topic is a little tricky and interesting. So just to introduce this topic, we have Dr. Vishnu Bhatt, Director of Medical Research and President of IIC, to enlighten us about today's event and the topic.
Good afternoon, respected medical representative, our AMS, BMS, and Madam Kotur and faculty members and students. It is nice that we are celebrating National Education Day, and in that we are talking about entrepreneurship in medical education. See, what happens is that as you join the medical department, you always think how to treat the patient, how to become a better doctor. But whether you can treat the patient better, whether you can treat the patient in a nicer way, whether you can treat a better outcome, so whether we can do something about these things. So that idea we don't think, we leave it to the engineers and other biotechnologists. We don't think in that direction at all. So, but definitely we face everyday problems in our medical life, and many times we start dealing with the problem rather than analyzing the problem. So I think this debate will stimulate most of our students and faculty members to think in that direction. So whether a doctor or a medical student can become an entrepreneur, because innovation and entrepreneurship are the most important things. Tomorrow you may build a company, you may produce new things which may serve the population at large. So if we keep on talking, I think the debate will be over. So we would like to listen from you, your opinion on this entrepreneurship in medical education, how we can take it forward. Thank you very much. We have a good debate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we'll be starting off the debate in a few minutes. I request the audience to be seated for some time. And the debate will be arranged down, and we will be making the arrangements at some time.
Before getting into the subject as such, the topic of the debate is, should entrepreneurship education be included in the healthcare professions H.com. So that will be supported by the affirmative team. The affirmative team includes Dr. Lavanya R, Assistant Professor OBG. Please give a big round of applause. And their teammates are Dr. Vaishnav R, PG, Mr. Ashutosh Pradhan, third MBBS, and Master Bragadesh, first MBBS. See, I can see much of excitement in you. See, actually, event is they will just be okay. You don't think that they will catch their hands, they will fight. Nothing is going to happen like this. Okay. Then the negative team. We'll introduce the negative team that will be led by Dr. Meghnathan sir, Associate Professor of Pharmacology. Dr. Ayush Tyagi, postgraduate. Please. Ms. Mushkan Raja, UG student, please. And Ms. Tejan Ashita, UG student, please. So the affirmative team to the left of the judges will be speaking in favor, and the negative team to the right of the judges will be speaking the negative part of it. So, shall we start? So first we will ask the affirmative, we will start with the affirmative team, Dr. Lavanya R, Assistant Professor, OBG. So I guess like they have master plan of debating. So Dr. Vaishnav, PG student will be starting with them. Please. See, rules was previously informed with you, right? And this marking also will be done on which side has performed the best. So the leaders of each of the sides will be given 6 minutes to 8 minutes each, and the other people will be given 4 minutes each. So try to stick on to your times and to the points. Right? You can start, sir, please.
So good evening, respected dignitaries, respected judges, ladies and gentlemen. Today's topic is about entrepreneurship. And what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is nothing, not just starting a business of its own. It's how well you market your idea and how successful you are in marketing your idea. That is the main point of entrepreneurship. In the 1990s, there was a person called Albert from Colombia. He was a fitness instructor. He was an aerobic instructor. One day he forgot his musical instruments for the aerobic class. So what happened? He had 100 countries which has been franchised, and it has been a successful model. So coming to our medical field, marketing in the medical field. Once you enter a medical school, when your father told the neighbors or relatives that my son and my daughter has joined into the medical school, the first thing they say is your son or your daughter's life is settled, because he will get a job in a medical college or in a hospital, or if nothing is there, he can you can buy him a sled and baby apparatus, and he can run his own show there. So he can win his bread and butter there, right? How to convert this bread and butter into biryani is how a successful entrepreneur is going to be. There was one more thing they used to say, not only is going to get a life, he will get a life partner also from a medical school. But that can be debated on some other day, like a disaster management or something. And so, how is this going to work out? So what is the thing with an entrepreneurship training? What is entrepreneurship actually? How successful is entrepreneurship? If you take how successful you are in the first 4 years of your business is what is going to decide how the marketing or how the brand has been organized. So if 10 people are starting the business on day 1, the number of people who succeed or who's happy with their entrepreneurship after 1 year of business is nearly 50%. 50% of the people back up, okay, back out of it. And then over the 4-year period, only 3 people still sustain that business. The other 2 has again backed out or they have lost their pathway. So there is only 30% of the people who have been making into a successful business. This is not because they couldn't withstand the losses. It was because they were unsuccessful, because the failures were not taught to them, and how to withstand the failures, how to become an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, is a person who has withstood a lot of failures in life. So that should be a very innovative thing which should be in the medical curriculum. Not only the medical curriculum, in all the curriculum of UG as well as post-graduation. See, that is, the entrepreneurship is nothing but a leadership quality, right? Leadership quality as well as your creative thinking. How the creative thinking becomes into a brand is what is called as marketing. Okay, say I'm an ENT surgeon. If I have a novel way of harvesting a graft for tympanoplasty. Tympanoplasty is nothing but reconstruction of a eardrum. If I have an idea of a novel approach of this, if I'm going to approach around 50 doctors of ENT surgeons in Pondicherry and I want to say about this, I have an approach called Vaishnav approach in tympanoplasty, and if I am able to at least successfully cover 10 to 20 doctors in Pondicherry, I have become an entrepreneur there. So now I have to market my skill. So 10 to 20 people have accepted mine and they are successfully doing that. Then I have to market my skill. So through various methods, I am training each and every one of who are happy with mine throughout the world, throughout my country. So at the end of 1 year, I have trained around 1,000 ENT surgeons about my novel technique. So I have been an entrepreneur of my technique for 1,000 people, and 500 doctors or 500 ENT surgeons are happy or are successful in successful with the idea of what I have done, and I have become a successful entrepreneur. And that's now called as branding. With the help of patency and research publications, this can be adjourned and made into a successful thing.
You can conclude. You can conclude. It's more than 4 time. 8 minutes for the person. You want the race figure? Then you can carry on.
So I will start with a small experience of me while starting a clinic. Post MBBS, I was into a clinic. I started a clinic for my daily thing to study along with the post-graduation. So once I started a clinic, as I said, this with the strength and BP apparatus, I put up my clinic, put up a beautiful board there, but no patients turned to me. So it has been 1 week, 2 weeks, I had 0 patients to me, and I was sitting like that. And as soon as I go home, my grandma used to ask me, how many mosquitoes did you kill? So I used to say that I installed a good night machine and I used to forget it out. Then there was a person from my dad's business partner who came into my clinic and said that, why don't you appoint a person here? So that is the framework for a clinic. There should be a person in the reception to address the patient, and then it will work out. I said, I don't have any income, but how can I appoint a person there? But he told them, just do it. So I went home and I didn't search for any BSc nursing graduates, or I didn't search for any pharmacists there. Instead, I went and approached my sister's servant, who was the BBC of the colony. Okay, so whatever will be turned as into the colony. So I went and approached her and I put her in my clinic. So within the span of 2 to 3 weeks, I started getting people around 10 to 12 patients per day. So after 10 to 12 patients, again there was a discrepancy. I had to start upgrading myself, so I put up a token system there. So the token system started with 1 to 12. So every day you don't get 12 patients. So there will be certain times that 3 or 4 patients will come. So at that time, the patient who came at around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the night got the third number token. So he was like, oh, the doctor has not seen any patients till now. He started the clinic from 4 o'clock and there's only 3 patients he has seen. So So what I told Arka is, since she's a BBC, she used to come and talk to me back also. So what Arka told us that this is a problem, the patient is having, there is a code going on like this. Then what I told her is, instead of starting the number 1 token, start it from number 12 token. The first patient who will come will be having the token number 12, token number 13, and it will be going on so on. So that the patient psychologically gets satisfied that he is around the 12th and 13th patient coming there. So this is a small ideas which I got to run a clinic for just for my pocket money while pursuing my postgraduate entrance exam. So if this idea can be taught to people by a simple student like me, we have various medical fraternities like assistant professors, HOD, who have various experiences in establishing their clinic and all those things. So their experiences are going to save years, and it is going to create a lot of difference in the economy of running our business. And when you take about other subjects like management studies or engineering, they have their option of getting into they have a subject called management along with them. But here in the medical curriculum, we lack that. So it is very important that along with ethics, management or the entrepreneurship skill should also be added in the medical curriculum. How to manage the accounts. Once the doctor, as I said, once the doctor is out of the medical field, he goes into the clinic and starts a clinic. He doesn't know how to multiply his organization. See, once he sits there, he has the same board and the same thing. So how to multiply, how to invest on certain things, certain ideas. These ideas can be not only starting up a clinic, starting up anything creatively. If you are in a medical, if you are a diabetologist, why don't you start if you are very interested in food, why don't you start a diabetic friendly restaurant or a cafe? Why, if you are a person, a physician, why don't you start a cafe for obesity friendly cafe? So these are the various creative things which go parallelly, not only along with your subject of clinic, or if you are interested in social service, or if you are interested in something like that, you have a team of doctors. So that is why the medical curriculum or being an MBBS, when you are in internship or when you are doing a postgraduate, you have lot of friends with you, lot of circles with you, lot of networking is very easy for you. And when this entrepreneurship skill is being injected to you probably during your internship time and postgraduation time, it will be very helpful for you to communicate, make a network, and be a better entrepreneur in your life. So concluding, the world is full of obvious things which nobody any chance observes. This is a famous quote by Sherlock Holmes. I would like to conclude by this, and I would like to thank the organization for giving me such a great opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Outstanding question. It was really outstanding. But like as soon as the students, what do you think? Like if you hear the word Zumba, what will run into their heads? Yeah, we all know what will run into their heads. But you are saying it in an entrepreneurship angle. That's really outstanding. And because of the outstanding GP practice, you have got a good watch also. I have noticed. Right. That was really good. So that was an awesome speech by Vaishnav. So let's see what is the negative part of this entrepreneurship by Ms. Tejal.
Good evening everyone, I am Tejal Hajera, student of first year AVMC. So I'm going to speak against the topic, should entrepreneurship education be included in healthcare professional studies? As you all know, ours is a big country with people belonging to different economic class. Some are rich, majority is poor, some belong to upper middle class and some belong to lower middle class. In such a country, there can never be a one-size-fits-all formula for anything. Today we are discussing about should entrepreneurship education be included in healthcare professional education. Who else but present or future doctors would be able to analyze it rationally? At the outset, let me compare the two by their definition. World Health Organization defines health education as comprising of consciously constructed opportunities by learning involving some formation of communication, defined to improve health literacy, including improving knowledge and developing life skills which are conducive to individual and community health. Entrepreneurship education, on the other hand, is defined as collection of formalized teaching that informs, educates, and trains anyone concerned in business establishment. Goals of entrepreneurship include developing business plans that leads to a product and working with ideal clients to maximize their products. This maximum return is the purpose of entrepreneurship. I believe that a doctor's priority should not be business oriented or earning profit. His or her work is one of selflessness and service to the needy people. I believe that medical profession is one which requires compassion towards their work. The goal of entrepreneurship inter area would be maximizing profits. If profit becomes goal of a doctor, then compassion and selflessness would be lost sight of. At the very purpose of profession which is cure and care will be defeated. These goals of entrepreneurship are thus in contradiction with the goals of medical profession which encompass relief of pain, suffering, promotion to health, cure of disease when possible, and care of those who cannot be cured. The doctor to population ratio in India is 1:2,148, that is 1 doctor for about 2,000 people. This statistics is in wide variation with doctor population ratio of other countries like USA and UK, which stands at 3:1,000, that is 3 doctors for about 1,000 people. With these kind of statistics, can we expect to professionalize the medical system to suit only those who can afford expensive medical facilities? Indeed, no. We need to have a holistic approach to medical facilities which will benefit maximum number of people possible. Considering a profit-oriented approach by its medical professionals will not lead to a healthy nation. Entrepreneurship, on the other hand, indeed involves working on maximizing profits and return-oriented approach at every stage. If an entrepreneur starts to empathize with his clients, then profit, which is his basic objective, will be lost sight of. I would like to share a very personal experience. Years back, I was there in Chandigarh. I was around 9 or 10 years of age, and I have a younger brother. He was at the time 2.5 to 3 years of age. So, my mother, she's a working woman. She's working with Reserve Bank of India. She was posted there, and we have a really nice children's park in front of her house. So my brother, he was playing and he was hit by a seesaw, and he had a very deep cut and he was bleeding profusely at that time. My mother was there in her office, so me and along with my neighbors, we went to hospital. Initially, the doctor, he recommended for normal stitches. As soon as he came to know about my mother's identity and there's a thing called as reimbursement, he immediately shifted his focus to plastic surgery. 3 years of age, the child was 3 years of age, and plastic surgery is mostly it is not recommended. As he was profit-oriented person, he did that. So the point of telling this story is that this mindset shouldn't be there, especially to a doctor. This mindset shouldn't be there. When profit is on the mind of doctors, the suffering of the patient is given less importance. You all would agree with me that medical profession is a noble profession and people see God in a doctor who saves thousands of lives. If the medical professions focus on their returns of business activity, the very purpose of being a lifesaver is defeated. If entrepreneurship education is included, the approach of students will be shifted from a noble one to a profit-oriented one. Therefore, in my view, educating medical students about the need and condition of a society and how important a role they play in a society by saving lives of thousands of people would be far more prudent or compared to professionally oriented approach to medical facilities depriving the poor of the much needed medical attention. Thank you.
So those really good skills they building. Yeah, listening, my personal experience was really good. Really, I guess so. Like it was catching the point. And the most important thing what you are trying to say is empathy and profit doesn't go in hand by any means. Whatever it is, it's not. They will never go in hand like a male and a female, right? Okay. So let's see the other team again, the affirmative team, which has been now. So now the speaker from the affirmative team will be Mr. Pragadish, first MBBS. Let's see, he is going to support this. He is going to say that empathy and profit will work together. Let's see what he says.
Good morning all. I'm Pragadish, first year. Good evening, good afternoon, dignitaries and all the students present over here. And I would like to start my debate with a topic. People have this misconception of entrepreneurship is only for the people who graduate from medical business schools and also for the people who have huge amount of financial capital. But basically entrepreneurship is not all about that. Entrepreneurship is basically identifying a problem in society and coming up with an innovative idea and then monetizing your idea into an effective product and services to the government or to the public. So this is what entrepreneurship is all about. So in first place, David had told about financial drawbacks. How could someone with no money can be an entrepreneur, right? I'll say an example. I heard the story of an inspiring entrepreneur called Ritesh Agarwal. Okay, he is one of the CEO of Oyo Hotels. Okay, firstly he started his business with just 50 rupees in his hand, going there to the nearby hotels and developing it and making available of all those necessary equipments and marketing it as an international or 5-star hotel or to a very extent for a decent hotel, and he made it his first business. And right now he is one of the biggest owner for the world's second most biggest supply chain in this world. So finance is not going to be a big drawback because ventures are there to support us if you have a very good creative idea to come up with, right? So right now I'm going to say how physicians are fit to be an entrepreneur. Physicians are the exceptionally good one to be an entrepreneur because from the day one physicians have been trained. From the day one physicians have trained to develop 3 core abilities. Number 1, capacity to learn. Number 2, confidence to operate with uncertainty. You can't judge a patient while he comes in bleeding, right? Whether he will survive or will dead, we never know. We'll start the procedure and we'll continue our tasks, what we're gonna do. So it's all about uncertainty. And domain expertise in the areas of healthcare. Being specialized in certain areas of healthcare. So these 3 core abilities are entrepreneurial nature. And so we have entrepreneurship skills in our blood, and which is imposed by medical curriculum. And entrepreneurship is also about addressing the challenges in the healthcare with creative and risk-taking, creative problem solving and risk-taking management. Basically, entrepreneurship is not something which is imposed, it's basically a mindset, and which can be inculcated with proper education. And so entrepreneurship, the core theme of entrepreneurship up to the medical side is innovation. Physicians played a central role in discovering and developing transformative medical tools and therapeutics. And so we are using this today. So the problem lies in the medical school. In medical school, they are not teaching about how to convert an idea into product. But classically in business schools, each and every business management teaching them how to convert their idea into effective product and how to market their content. But this need to be, my request is this need to be inculcated in the medical fraternity to make the best use of the innovative ideas from the amazing minds we have. And we have a threat right now from disruptive technology. Disruptive technology. Disruptive technology is nothing but a superimposing technology which has superior thought and which can destroy the conviction one. People who are trained from traditional clinical science who can't handle it. So we need to be on the page to be recruited daily, gain knowledge on daily basis, to be on page to be on the place to make the best use of it. Like we need to be aware about what is happening around us. So being this in notice, 13 medical schools have started to give 13 medical schools in Western countries started to issue entrepreneurship certificate on the basis of entrepreneurship skills, innovative thinking, branding the medicine, and also marketing your ideas. By this, if you acquire these skills, if you have an effective prototype and an idea, they will give you a certification that you are an entrepreneur, and we can tackle this with the disruptive technology. Okay then, thank you.
That is really good substantiating thing from the opposite side, right? From the positive side. So what he's saying is like not only on the entrepreneurship not only means its profit, but again like one definition is there in the entrepreneurship, it supports success of the product, getting out success, the product coming out as a success. And we don't know what that actually success means. Most of the means, many people mean it as money. We'll see like what is the opposite thing. Now we have a speaker, Mushkin Raja, a UG student. Please, you can start. He's going to say the opposite side of the entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Muskan Raja, and I'm going to be speaking against the topic. So, first of all, I would like to address something that Sir said. He said that entrepreneurship is about marketing. It's about marketing and making you look like you are the best. This strategy of marketing yourself, making yourself look good, creates a very unfair competition to the kind of people who are not maybe so good at people pleasing but have good skills, who have good medical skills. So that's what the medical industry requires. It requires medical professionals who are skilled at treating people, not making themselves look good. Secondly, about the mindset. Pragadish spoke about the entrepreneurial mindset. I would like to address that by saying that entrepreneurship eventually means that you're supposed to you're supposed to take up a business, you're supposed to create profits out of it. You're supposed to gain money out of it. And when it comes to owning a business, when it comes to starting up your own business, the risks and responsibilities that are associated with that business is going to divert your attention away from the actual patient, from your care of the patient. And if that's not
what sir is saying, don't target Pragadish. The target knows that they are sitting there anyway. There's a continue.
What I was trying to say is that the risks and the responsibilities that are associated with owning a business, with working in a business, and having your own business involve a lot of things like personal investments, low earnings. These kind of things can divert your attention away from patient care and the actual medicine. Secondly, the market incentive and the capitalist economy is very contradictory to the actual public health requirements currently. Profit-motivated behavior and the profit-seeking behavior, it keeps individuals from accessing the necessities, basic necessities, and it undermines public health. I'm going to state a few examples. Like during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been such a big part of our lives, there were a lot of cases. For instance, there was a student who was actually charging his friends for every dollar of hand sanitizer he was giving them. And that student was suspended from school. I think everyone must have heard about it. Apart from that, the online prices, the price surge in the hand sanitizer prices, the price surge in the price of tissues, antimicrobial wipes, everything had really undermined the actual necessity of the country, necessity of the people. And this created a market. Who were these people? Who was that student? He was in a way an entrepreneur. He found a strategy and he made profit out of it. When you think about it from a normal person's perspective, from a medical professional's perspective, that's really heinous. You're not supposed to do this when, you're not supposed to make money out of people's misery. But then when you look at it from an entrepreneurial side, as one reporter did, he said that you wait for 10 years. This guy is gonna, move the market, he's gonna shift the market. So that's the difference between an entrepreneur and a medical professional. Apart from that, for reference, this I had read in a study for COVID-19 capitalism in the Journal for Public Health. Apart from that, talking on the ethical aspect, I feel the response to a disease should not stem from the fact that a market is created out of it. The response to a disease should stem from the basic humanity. There is another concept that I would like to put forward. It's called patient paradox. This concept was put forward by Dr. Margaret McCartney, who is a British practitioner. So, she spoke about how pharmaceutical companies and mental health care companies, they prefer certain type of patients, they prefer certain type of illnesses over the other. And this is mainly because there are certain type of illnesses that provide a market. There are certain type of illnesses that provide profits. And certain types that don't. For instance, chronic diseases like hypertension, chronic respiratory diseases. These are diseases that require medicines for a long term. These are diseases that require a person to constantly go and buy medicines, get themselves treated. And these are the kind of diseases that are preferred by the pharmaceutical companies because they can gain a profit. When it comes to mental health, when it comes to diseases like cancer, that shorten the market, that divide the market into fragments, they are not willing to go towards that side. And all of this stems from the fact that this does not give them enough money. There is a basic inherent discrimination in the kind of patients you choose. And when you're teaching that in a medical school, when you're teaching that to students to think about the monetary aspect, to think about monetizing your education, you are eventually contradicting their own values that we learn in the medical school. We have learned empathy. In our orientation, the first skill we were taught was empathy. But then, when it goes to entrepreneurship, it shifts to self-interest. And that's a very major contradiction. Yes. Yeah, so these are some of the few reasons why I believe that entrepreneurial education may be fit for the business-oriented, but then when it comes to medical professionals, I think it is not the best fit. Thank you.
As you said, I was remembering that word, once doctor was considered God, even Teja was saying, doctors is equal to God, something like that. And in between these two words, one word called money or profit, it came in, and all of a sudden it got a big turn. That's what we feel. But Ashos is saying it's not like that, so we'll see what he says.
Thank you, sir. I'm Ashutosh Bhatt. I will be talking for of entrepreneurship. I will tell a rare example first. Monkey was there. In front of him, 12 bananas, 200 rupees. 12 bananas, he took, scratched it and went off. 200 he left. Why? I'll put this example into entrepreneurship. We all need that 9 to 5 job. We will put our brain into someone's idea. We will not take that 200 and buy 200 more bananas, but we will take that 12 bananas. Like that entrepreneurship is. And healthcare profession is not just we doctors. There are nurses, there are planners, there are administrators, there are physiotherapists, there are many people who are included in this healthcare field. And I'll tell one point which I heard of that, sorry for a brother that we felt, plastic surgery, okay. See the tables, we all can see this table, this is very nice table and there is one table. Why that table is not kept here and this one kept there? It looks nice. Plastic surgery will build your, the face will be more beautiful. He wanted in that perspective, he doesn't want to People write pantoprazole and omeprazole depending on the economic status of the person. That is the main point. Done. Next. There are many fields like we can develop healthcare applications as a manufacturer. Entrepreneurship is like built-in. The entrepreneur idea should be given to the child. How? Sir, MS went, he gave an example of PC Reddy. Yes, PC Reddy in year 1900, in the year 1983, he thought of an idea Apollo. What is the full form of Apollo? Can anyone tell? The full form of Apollo is adult practitioners. The practitioners, we are the future practitioners, have a line learning opportunity. Apollo, it's adult practitioners on line learning opportunity. It has given the opportunity to the practitioners to come under one roof and treat the patients. Now, today, by 2020 report, it's 62,939 people who are working in Apollo. It's not only 62,913 people, it's 62,913 families. Under that people, they are also getting educated, they are getting the lifestyle because of this one idea Apollo, and he is an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship can bring changes into you, and it can also bring changes in people around you. Simple example, you are a doctor, you have a car. You will ask one person